Great. Thanks, Agtha. So the meetings are typically recorded and then posted on the HCC YouTube channel. So that's where you can find, and so you're able to see the slides on the that are projected. Thanks for your question. All right. I did want to offer a follow-up. So at our last meeting, we had Kira Ritter, who's the interim director for the Hampden Family Center. So she's a consultant who's acting in that capacity. She shared an update about what's happening with the Hampden Family Center. So I did want to reinforce that there are food distributions that are taking place every Friday from noon until 1. After that time where she came to speak with us, I had a quick one-on-one with her and basically asked her, what can the Hampden Community Council do to support the Hampden Family Center in terms of where they are now? And I would just say that she really, really impressed me with how they are wrapping their hands around what they have, what they are uniquely offering the community. And she just was pretty honest and said, look, funds are what we really could use. But not just that, she talked me through how they're able to make their dollars really stretch. So in terms of the food distributions, they're not just going up here to the Giant, they're going places where they can get food at a much discounted rate. So the cash that we would give actually stretches far beyond like if I were to just literally go up the street and buy a gallon of milk and share that. So just on a personal note, I would say that so my husband and I decided to shift. We used to give just at the Taste of Hampden or maybe at the end of the year. But we've actually switched to be monthly donors, and I invite you to consider doing the same. So this is something that honestly, for me, I had just kind of always assumed that the family center would be here. But it's really been made clear over the last year that for the institutions that we really care about, we need to do something about maintaining them and really stepping in to make sure that that's the case. So thanks to Jim, who actually typed in the thing to make that happen in our household. But I did want to not only announce that food distributions happen on a weekly basis, but invite you as well to contribute on an ongoing basis. All right. Any other announcements before we shift to the annual election?
Did you want to do mine? Now?
If they're quick, or that's fine. We'll do a longer partner thing at the end. Okay. Great. All right. So I'd invite Mary Rose to come join me up here. And there's two explanations that we wanted to offer. One is about a bylaw update. So this is answering the question, why are we having the this election in January? And the other is about voting eligibility. So please.
Thank you. As you can see posted, we have an amendment that we did to our bylaws, which indicates that we could extend our service year into January 31st and have our election here in January. The reason for that was just difficulty in getting things together in December with some other activities going on with people. So we voted in favor of this before the end of December, and it's required that we post it, which is what we're doing here. We're going to have our elections tonight. I have some written ballots with me today, if anyone wants to vote here today in paper. Otherwise, it's going to be posted on the Facebook and on our website. You can go in and vote. The voting will be open for 1 week. So if you're not able to get to it tonight, you can certainly get to it, in the next week, and we will tabulate it at the end of that 7-day period. And we will go ahead and announce who has been elected into the positions. As it indicates here, we have a couple of roles that we have. We have a president, a vice president, a treasurer, and a secretary. And then we have just general board members who serve in various capacities. They can take on a committee. They could just be involved in a particular project that's special to them or important to them. There's no real role defined for those particular board members. It can be flexible in what you do. We have voting eligibility, which is you have to attend 2 meetings, including this one, and you have to pay your dues during 2023. That's what the requirements are. But if you want to vote, please go ahead and vote. We don't want to, at this point, prevent anyone who is interested in becoming involved or having their voice counted to go ahead and vote. So, that's what the eligibility is designated. And we just are looking for people who are interested in getting involved and voting. So I don't want to say we're ignoring that eligibility, but, please vote if you're here tonight or have friends or family who are in Hampden and are interested in getting involved in the board. So tonight we have, I think it's 10 people on the board who are running for, we have some people running for re-election, and we have a couple of new people that are running for positions. As it indicates on the screen, there's board members. So we have a total of 19 people that can serve. And if we get more volunteers than 19, that's wonderful. We'll find the ability to, have you volunteer and do a particular project or get on a committee or do something. And as you can see from the screen before, if our bylaws need to be amended to suit what we want to do, we can certainly do that with the appropriate steps. We are possibly going forward having a little bit of reorganization of our group with regard to what we do and how we do it, when we do it. We find that it's gotten a little bit rigid in some of the requirements and some of our abilities to accomplish things. And we want to be more flexible, get more people in the community involved, have more committees, do some more activities with people in the community. So we're looking for a little bit of a change going forward and hoping we can get some people to help us do that. So,
Could we have an opportunity to take questions from folks?
Sure.
I know there was a question already raised about what's the time commitment for a board member? So if somebody wanted to be a board member, what are they getting themselves into?
Well, currently our time commitment is we have 2 meetings a month. On the 3rd Monday of every month, the board gets together in an executive session, and we talk about some of the things that need to be voted on or some of the projects we want to do, etc. That's usually about an hour and a half. It depends on, what type of items are there and how engaged everyone is on those topics. And then we have the general meeting, which takes place on the last Monday of the month, which is typically an hour 15 minutes. So that's really our required meeting time now. There is certainly, time during the month that people may interact with, whatever committee they're working with. We have an education committee. So I know that the 2 people that are on that right now, they engage with ACE, and they go there and they meet with the principal and they get information and they work on projects with that. We have Dan does the clean and green. So he works on having different things during the month, cleanups, projects, etc. So other than right now, the 2 basic meetings, it's really, what you want to do and how you want to do it. Any help is great. And we'd love to have you join us, and we can kind of work that out to fit what your schedule is going forward. Any other questions on that? Let's see, sorry.
Yes, no, I think that was that.
Blaze says, are we changing the monthly meeting to a quarterly meeting? We could. That's certainly something that we can talk about. It's not a final decision, The new board is going to be, as I said, looking at some changes in how we manage things. We may do more off non-meeting discussions, having some emails, having some Zooms, having some chats, and trying to get more committees to do work as opposed to having these general general board meetings or community meetings. So that's not definite yet. We're really looking to kind of, get a new perspective for the future.
I think one of the interests was, could we have more activities that involve people across the community rather than coming to a meeting or being part of a committee? Could we actually, in an off month, rather than having a meeting, okay, on a Saturday, on a Sunday, let's go do a thing together. So having more kind of interactive opportunities for community members.
Right. Yes, we've been talking about maybe some happy hours, some events at the restaurants in the neighborhood, more cleanup activities, maybe some movies, bingo nights, or just some social gatherings where people can get together, and get involved and find out what's going on and have some impact on the community and what we need to do for ourselves. Okay, I don't see any other questions right now.
I would add one thing, which was an active conversation among the board members was about kind of a go and see. So going to another community association, whether that's Medfield or where Remington, wherever it would be, and getting to see, okay, well, how do other groups do this, and what are things that we like from there that we might want to borrow and modify for Hampden. Anyway, just wanted to say that that's in the mix as well. So making connections across community associations.
Yes, and certainly also questions and comments and suggestions from the community. That's also important. We have Facebook and the website and various emails where you can send ideas, and we'd love to see those. I'm sorry, I did. Oh, Aaron.
Fly on the wall because my job kind of necessitates me being involved in every aspect of every community I'm involved in. So I'll have back on things. There's anything more value to
Yeah,
wonderful, wonderful. Aaron, who works at a school, Thread, a nonprofit, who works at a school, helps the students there with various programs and getting into schools and giving them advice and guidance. Indicates that he goes to a number of different community groups and will be happy to report back to us what some of the other groups are doing. Some things they find positive and some things they find negative. I see here. Yes, one of the board members wrote in and said that we are, our goal is to focus on issues that involve the community and better engagement with the community and more activities. So we, want to encourage everyone to get involved.
Some quick
Sure.
feedback on the idea of meetings.
Yes.
I'm all for additional activities and like some in-person social hours, but I actually think the monthly format is really pretty useful, even if participating online, just to get a sense of what's going on in the neighborhood. So I do like our monthly meetings. I just want to say that.
Yes, thank you. I do think we provide some information that is helpful, and there's a number of ways that we can do that. We have a couple of people here in person. The monthly meetings could possibly just be all Zoom going forward, and that way that might encourage more people to be involved as we get more activities and get more things posted on the social media, the internet, the Facebook. There may also be, annual reports or monthly reports there that are helpful to let people know what's going on. And, we used to have a newsletter and we aren't really able to put that together right now with the number of volunteers we have. I think that was also very helpful. Someone was telling me the other day, they love the newsletter. So maybe we could do that as well. But we're not saying that the meetings will go away. We're just kind of assessing what works best for everyone. And if it's a, shorter type of meeting every week not every week, every month to give updates, we'll keep that in mind.
So let's go with Tim and then Joe online.
How does joining committees work?
It just, we have a couple of standing committees. One is health and safety, one is nominations, one is education, one is clean and green. I think there may be one or two other ones that exist, and you can join that committee if you'd like. Or we have the ability to create whatever committee may be necessary to accomplish what we want to do. I know we had a committee when we were doing Hampden Fest. People got on that committee and they put together during the Dunkin' booth. We also had a committee, we used to have a fundraising committee. We had an activities committee at one point. We did a number of activities in the area, a paint night, a bingo, a couple of other things. So just let me know or let us know what kind of thing you want to do, what you think the community would like, and we can establish that committee if we like, or you can join one that already exists.
What's this format kind of more of a pre-pandemic existence of the council?
Yes. You know, unfortunately, I assume many groups find this. We used to have, you know, in-person meetings without Zoom where there would be 50, 60 people that would come to a meeting. And, you know, that has kind of stopped. We had a long period of time where we couldn't have meetings at all, and we picked up the Zoom. And I think people have gotten a little bit too used to doing Zooms. And we're not really getting the interaction with people that I think is necessary. And we've got less and less people kind of volunteering to do things because it's easier, I think, just to sit home and push a button on your computer and not really take the time to get involved or meet with other people and work on a committee. But we'd hope to try to get some of that back, maybe a little bit more of a hybrid that works, you know, nowadays. We're not saying we're going to go back, but we want to do something that's a little more engaging with people.
I think one of the questions is, are there more agile ways of kind of bringing people together, doing a thing, and then not disbanding, but like making it easy for people to kind of come in and, like, if they don't want to join a yearly committee, you know, could they come in, do an activity and count that as a success, but not have to go to a monthly meeting? So these are all kind of conversations about how do we want to be together? How do we want to run this? And I think it's really up to the board to decide how we run this together.
Yes, I see Agatha made a comment that says, I think it'd be fun to do social meetups at local businesses, have a chance to meet and break bread while supporting local residents. And I assume that's Agatha that we received an email from, and she said that she's interested in getting on the board
Awesome.
and working on some of those community engagements, and you'll see her on the ballot for this evening. So, you know, let's just start with an idea. And if you have it, we can make it work. There's really no limits, and no, nothing we're not, well, there's just no limits. We'll see where we go. So we haven't decided we're not having a monthly meeting, but it just, you know, maybe a little different.
Over to Joe.
Yes, hello. First of all, thank you so much, Mary Rose, for organizing all this and explaining all that to people. All these ideas, I'm on the board that we're hearing, and all this brainstorming is just like why it's so important that we have interested people willing to step up and join. We just need better engagement all around, and there's a lot of really awesome ideas in our community, and so join the board and help be like a proactive part of the solution, because there's a lot of great ideas. But also, please, if you're joining the board, be ready to do like actual work and not just complain, because there's you know, it's fun, but it also is a, you know, an important responsibility, and we definitely like to recruit a board that's a little bit more active. So that was just my 2 cents, and thank you so much. This is really good.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. I actually serve on a couple of different boards and organizations, and I find when someone complains, I just take that as a volunteer. So if you want to complain, that's great, but I'm going to say back to you, okay, how do you think we can improve that or fix that? And you know, let us know what we can do to help you get that fixed. So, anything else?
Agatha says, I'd also be interested in doing activities that not only engage existing residents, but also welcome new people to the neighborhood. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I think the point we've reached is that there's a very small group of people who actually are engaged and vote on things, and they're making decisions for thousands of people who live in Hampden. And it's not really what we intend on doing. I mean, there's, a lot of people with attitudes and with opinions and important things to say, and we want to hear all those, and we want to have impact on those so that we can represent everyone, as opposed to just a selective few who get involved. And if there's reasons why you're not involved, we'd love to hear that, because we would like to change. I mean, I think some people have said to us, well, the dues are kind of expensive, or it's hard to keep up with paying the dues, or it's hard to make all these meetings and we can't vote because we have to be there 2 or 3 times in order to vote. All of that, is up for editing. Yes. Oh, just touching. Anything else?
I think that's that.
Okay. So, look online, and there's a ballot. Please go in and vote. And if you have any difficulties in finding that, you can email me at hccnominations@gmail.com. I'm looking at that and we'll put you in the right direction. Everyone who's here tonight can do it online, or I have paper ballots if you want to count. You want to vote and count. And, Joe, thank you for your thank yous earlier, but I have to also shout out to Dan, who was very helpful in getting the ballots online for us, and for Joe putting the nominations on Facebook. I'm a little behind in the computer skills. I'm learning, but it's the younger folks who do better with that.
So I note that there's at least one change to the ballot.
That's fine.
So I wonder if there's anyone who has not already reached out through the HCC nominations email that would like to be on the ballot. If you could type in the chat, or if you're in the room, raise your hand, and we will add you to the ballot.
Okay, we've got 1, maybe 2 already here. And we can update the ballots if anyone, before they go live, if anyone wants to nominate themselves, just go to hccnominations@gmail.com when we get done here, and we'll put you on the ballots. And
Are there
actually,
any?
go ahead.
Sorry.
No,
Are there any like statements or brief bios or anything with the ballots to encourage informed voting?
we did not do that for this time. In the past, we've had meetings where people actually stand up and do talk about themselves. So we haven't put that together for this meeting. We can
Is there are 3, as far as I know, there
Well,
are 3 new people,
mhm.
who one of whom I know would be known to the group. Is Scott on the call right now? Let's see.
I don't have Scott's name. Oh, Scott Vogel.
Yeah. I don't see Scott on the line. And I'm not sure about the other 2 individuals.
I can, we can certainly ask people to we have a week. We're going to keep the voting open for a week, and I can ask some of the nominees to maybe put together a little paragraph, and we can ask that
on Facebook.
Post it on Facebook. Ask Dan or Joe, who's been helping to get those on Facebook. Or if you're running for nomination, you just go on Facebook yourself. I think we can do that.
Yep.
And just add a little paragraph and introduce yourselves to the community and say, this is who I am. I want to run for election. And even the past board members, who are running for re-election, just go ahead and put a little paragraph out there that says, who you are, what your involvement is, and let people know, what your interest is in the committees.
Thanks for
you.
that.
And then we vote on Facebook.
Yes.
How do we get?
We will. So it's a form.
Okay.
That Dan, thanks to Dan for putting the form together. And so the link to that form will go on Facebook, and I will make sure that it gets emailed out to folks as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, anything else?
Other questions, comments?
For comments for future reference, there's really easy technology these days that can enable, like, for example, my dad's 70th birthday happened last year. We wanted to collect a bunch of videos of friends. We sent them a link in an email. They just had to click, recorded them from their phone. It
Nice.
compiles all the videos together, and that can be done really easily for like mock presentations, like the people running for office could easily. And this doesn't have to happen now. Obviously, it's a little late for that, but it could be collected within less than a week, and your work is done. It's just dependent on the people who want their voice heard to just record a video and send it and submit it. And then from there you can post that online. You'll have maybe like 5 candidates you can watch through the videos, see what they have to say, and make a more informed decision.
What's the software?
There's various ones. I don't know off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
there's probably at least 100 different versions of the same one, like everything else these days. So that makes
Great,
sense.
that's certainly something we can look at going forward.
Love it.
First time here, I'm not trying to ask too many questions.
No, please, we love
Ask
questions.
away.
Be involved.
The water's good.
Right.
Come on in.
Lower the- yeah.
May I ask your name, sir? Your
Tim Serby.
Tim Serby is one of the gentlemen here tonight that wants to be added to the ballot. So if you want to go onto Facebook and just add a little blurb about yourself, and Dan will update.
Yep.
Yeah, you could do it.
That's right.
That would be unfair advantage.
Tim would be known to folks who were on the pedestrian safety walk a few months ago. So thanks to Tim for organizing that and facilitating that as well. So I'm delighted that you are willing to join. What are our other?
Well, Agatha said she just posted a little paragraph about herself. And then we have another comment about Check America's Most Wanted for candidates.
That's right.
I assume that's humorous.
It's not that well. Politics. So
Okay, great. And as I said, any questions, it's hccnominations@gmail.com. And I have that pulled up on my work screen, so I should see it, a couple times a day. Thanks.
Thanks so much to Mary Rose and to Dan, who are facilitating this, and also to Joe for putting together the beautiful visual that went on Facebook earlier last week. So thank you. Yes, Agatha. Hello.
Hi, thank you everyone for working on this meeting, and I'm looking forward to, I guess, running for something. But anyway, thank you for taking this time. This is my niece Ava. She's going to be joining us maybe a little bit. I'm doing some childcare this evening, but I wanted to ask, how is there a way for people to vote who are not on Facebook or not online? Is there a way to get like a paper ballot, or how? Yeah, is there a process? You thinking about a process for that?
Send their email to the HCC nominations.
So Agatha, would these people have email?
Yeah, yes. I'm only thinking about maybe like neighbors, for example, who I know on my block, who I've texted, but I don't know what their social media
Savviness, yes.
yeah.
So if we have their email, we'd be happy to send them a link to the form.
Okay.
And then it's an idea for the future. If we would want to, I think it's part of the overall conversation about how do we reach people in Hampden, right? So if you get, say, even if we get 60 people here, that's a smaller number than the something like 5,000 that are in our community, 6,000. So how do we draw on these folks? How do we go to restaurants and coffee shops and bars and connect with people there? What's the barrier to entry? So I think it's part of an ongoing conversation. This is where we are now. And I hope that in the future it might be further along in that. So great question, Agatha.
Christina, I would also say if somebody wants a paper ballot, or you have neighbors that want ballots, just, write in whatever your question or concern is on that email. I could put something in the mail, or I could PDF you a paper ballot. You can print it, give it to your neighbors. I would want to see, you know, some individual names on those that were not, you
Yeah.
know, one person voting 50.
So there's not ballot stuffing.
I'm not sure we would care about that either.
All right,
You know, just let us know there's a way to communicate and we want to do
Yeah.
it.
great. Great line of questioning, Agatha. Anything else on this topic? I did want to share with folks, I think that this is somewhat known, but I am, after serving in the president role for the last 2 years, this will be my last meeting as your president. I look forward to supporting HCC in the future in other ways, but life takes me other places. While remaining in Hampden, I'll be doing some other stuff. So I just wanted to express how excited I am about the conversations that are happening among board members and the ideas that are percolating. It's a really good time to jump into the fray. So anyway, my heart is with you all.
And a thank you for everything you've done.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, I was sharing with some folks in the room when we were doing our Know Your Neighbor that I feel like I've learned a ton in these 2 years in particular about how the city works and about people, and it's been a real privilege and such an interesting experience. I'm really grateful for it. I did want to invite, moving on from the election topic, I did want to invite any of our board members, in particular, Joe. I wondered if you might be interested in sharing just some of the conversations that you're having, a kind of, even if we're not at the point of rolling something out, kind of a peek behind the scenes of what are some of the conversations that are happening in our community.
Hey, Christina. So as for education updates, there's not a whole lot to report right now. I guess I could just say the big, I guess, breakthrough in that department is that there was a meeting facilitated by ACE with the Hampden Christian School that some of the people in this meeting attended, and basically just sort of open dialogue and start building that relationship a little bit more than it has been. There's interest in doing events and collaboration in the future between both schools. And I guess the one big hot ticket item that was accomplished was they exchanged contact information. So if there's ever situations like a school lockdown or a fire drill or some sort of any type of disruption or disturbance going on with ACE or vice versa at Hampden Christian School, they can communicate with each other, the school administrations, about what's going on, just so they can, so that both groups can prepare their students and yeah. So not a whole lot. I think there's desire to organize community service projects, maybe some community building events with both schools and the larger community. But that's about it.
Great, thanks, Joe. One of my reflections is that the nature of this relationship building is something that has to happen over time, because the former person at the Hampden Family Center and former principal had those, you know, that text chain. So just the importance of, you know, as people leave, getting those new numbers in and building and continually building relationships with the new folks that take those roles. All right. Any other board members that would like to share something? Great. So then let's turn to any partner report outs. Odette, would you like to share? Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Hi, everybody. For those in the room and those on the computer. I think I missed the last meeting. So forgive me for that. And I know that Councilman Torrance, I don't think is on. I know he's got some things going on. So I do have a couple of updates. One is all of you on Falls Road will be extremely happy to know, and you've probably already observed that all of the peak hour parking restriction signs are gone. Except for one block, that's my mess up. We will fix it. And so that will help us greatly with traffic calming during the rush hour. So basically what that means is that at 7 a.m. or at 4 p.m. when you used to have to move your car, you do not have to do that anymore. That is something that the councilman and I have been working on for a really long time, and we finally have that. So let me know how it's going. We want to share positive stories of traffic slowing down or fewer accidents. It is something that I'm doing across my district. There are 2 streets that DOT has not taken the signs down, and I need to just have proof of concept. And that's Green Mountain Avenue and 33rd Street. So we finally got that done, and I'm glad to say that that's I think a big victory. There's still a lot of issues with resurfacing after the water main issues. It is too cold right now to finish up the resurfacing. Roland Avenue, I know, is the one that I get complaints about the most. We are trying to get at least the bumps kind of smoothed out, but as soon as it starts to warm up, the temperature that they don't want to go below is 40. And so unfortunately we are in Baltimore, and so it could be 70 one day and 30 the next, right? So it's just not very consistent. So we will not see the finishing of the resurfacing until maybe March. But we are aware of the issues and are trying to figure out what's the best way to mitigate that. Again, I think Roland is the only one on my side of Hampden that has not been finished. 2 streets up in Hose Heights have not been finished, but I think we're getting there. Let's see, 3110 Elm Avenue. Those of you who might remember the bookbindery, we have been going through a process of making that a historic building. We have one more hearing to go. That is for the bill to make it a permanent historic landmark. That hearing was just set for February 20th. And I'll get anybody who wants to testify the date and the time. We do in the city council have hybrid here, not in planning commission or zoning, but in city council, we have hybrid hearings. So you can participate online as well as coming down to our historic city hall building. So I'll get those out. On the public safety side, there's a lot to report, and I know the councilman would want me to report this as well. We do have a new major. Major Johnson has gone to the recruitment bureau, and so a new major, his name is Arnold Jenkins. He was in the Northern as an officer, so he's very familiar with the Northern. He has moved up in the ranks. I last worked with him when he was at the Eastern. He has been the one that has been preparing districts for the group violence reduction strategy. And also, I think I'm actually really glad that he is going to be, and he is our major. So I'll make sure that he comes to one of the next meetings to introduce himself. But in the meantime, if you have, public safety issues, Captain Middleton is still the captain. So you can always talk with her, and she's been our captain for a while. I know the package theft issue has been one of the biggest ones in the area. again, this is a big deal. The people who have been doing this have been arrested. There have been court dates, but if the victims do not show up, the perpetrators will be released. And this has happened 4 or 5 times this year. So we're in contact with some of the businesses that have been affected, but also I've been able to hear from residents who have been affected, so that when those court dates come up, we do have people showing up. So we used to be able to just get impact letters, and I'm not sure why that's not working. Showing up in person, I know is a pain, but it works better. So that's where we are there. As well, we do have a multi-agency approach happening in Hampden. I don't know if you can, well, you may not have noticed.
Who share? I was going to ask.
Yeah,
can you share
so we had asked for what's called a multi-agency approach, knowing that arresting everybody probably isn't the right answer, because there are some folks that are struggling with lots of other things going on. So homeless services is in the area, Baltimore Crisis Response is in the area, and we're trying to at least make sure that there's more opportunity to get services and housing, particularly now that it's so cold. And but if we are seeing additional patrol in the sheriff as well. I don't know if you all have seen that. So we're trying to just get as many services as possible in the area. I have the same deployment, or similar deployment happening on Green Mountain Avenue as well. So if you are, interested to learn more, or if you are, having trouble with something, just email me. I'll make sure that those of you who have, I can put it in my information. And, oh, actually, it's really easy. It's just odette.ramos@baltimorecity.gov is the best way to reach me. And we can connect you with the police or whatever services is needed.
I think one of the questions that we had received is essentially, is there case, it wasn't in these words, but I'm interpreting it as, is there case management for, like, if there are kind of known residents or neighbors who are repeat people.
So this is one of the biggest challenges we have in the city. So there are several people in Hampden in particular, but also in other parts of the city that are really suffering through substance abuse, and may not know the resources, may not know how to get the resources. And so they're also facing homelessness, or they may be going through a crisis. And so some of these other services have been important to get them addressed. So we're hopeful that it's just I would love to have a legion of social workers all over the city who would help us with that, because it does take a case management approach. And then there are, depending on what programs they're in, like through DSS and a few others, there are case managers available. So it's just also a matter of making sure that the person is open to assistance. That's also been the issue.
Yep.
Same with housing. We have one gentleman that we've been trying to help, and he's just not ready to go anywhere. And that's there's a lot of reasons for that. I mean, with our people who are experiencing homelessness, some of it is that they might have a mental health issue, or they need access to whatever substance they're dealing with, or that they don't want to go through the system. The system actually is not, it's improving, but you have to go to shelter first before you can go to housing. And so there's all kinds of issues, particularly women and children, particularly with, privacy, because we still don't have non-congregate shelter. This is a huge issue that we're working on, trying to get those 2 hotels for non-congregate shelter. However, in extremely cold weather, there is winter shelter. There's more of them around. Some of the rec centers are now being used, and also that there's a hotel used for families in extreme weather.
Anyway, it's really about marrying all of the various services. I wish that we could say that there was case management. One of the things that the family center used to do well, was to provide that, for some families, and hopefully they'll get back to that at some point in time. But it is difficult, but we've got this multi-agency approach. There's also been a couple of folks in the neighborhood that are no longer here for various reasons, that have been causing some challenges. So I think that it's still something that we're dealing with.
So on a practical level, so if there's stuff that's happening, is it that your office is coordinating the different services?
The
that are
mayor's
coming in?
office.
Okay, so months or?
No, it is, the mayor's office of neighborhood safety and engagement is involved. It's her name is Allie Smith from the mayor's office that's been working with us,
Okay.
with the councilman and I mean, we are the sort of, if people have questions, they can come to us, but the mayor's office is coordinating.
Okay, so if people wanted to engage on a very tactical, practical level, is the best
Best way is to
way
contact myself or the councilman first.
to put you in?
Mhm,
Okay,
Yep. Mhm.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, so we're trying to address all of those challenges. And then the last thing, I think you all saw in the paper that Hunfest has decided that 30 years is enough. We'll see if something takes their place or not. Obviously we're wanted, and I said it in the paper, I thank the organizers for doing it for so long. Sometimes things just run their course. And so we'll see how that turns out. I know there's already some talk about Hampden Fest in September, so it's not like the neighborhood won't have parties.
Yes.
It's the toilet race.
I know.
Well, there's rumors about what. Yeah, it was also like a humongous liability, so I don't know. So,
Danger to maybe not life, but definitely limb.
oh yeah, no, a huge liability. So who knows if that'll come back. But we'll see. But there's some really great things happening in the neighborhood. And so obviously we just came off of the holidays where kind of everybody and their mom was coming to Hampden for the lights, which I love so much. And I'm glad that that all worked out. And talking with the residents on 34th Street, we're gonna do a lot more planning ahead of time just to make sure everything is coordinated. Yeah. Mhm. So I think that's it. I have a newsletter that comes out on Mondays. You can subscribe to that by just emailing me, and I'm available for questions.
Great. Jim, and then Libby, if you'd like to share next after Jim's question.
Yeah, you may not have answered to this, but I'm wondering, since you mentioned Hampden Fest, last year there was the issue about dates. Do you know if that's been resolved for this year or?
So Artscape is I don't know why this is happening, but Artscape is moving to August, the first weekend of August, which makes zero sense to me.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew when it was, everybody knew it was hotter than you know what, and prepared for it. Now they're doing it in August when everybody's gone. So I have no idea what this is about. I'm not in charge. However, in September, we are doing the Baltimore Book Festival, and it's going to be in the district. It'll be over on Green Mountain Avenue, forever and always. Oh, I'm so excited about it. It's a really big deal that the Baltimore Book Festival will be in Waverly. And so we are coordinating those and making sure that Hampden Fest gets its own weekend and that we're not interfering with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we're gonna announce the dates for the book festival very soon. And it's so amazing to have the book festival back in a neighborhood. It's super easy to get to. I represent 11 bookstores, and now it's my
So
new district,
awesome.
and another one is the most in the city. So I was like, well, we should have the books. It'll be huge, economic
So great.
activity. So great to bring folks together. So I'm super excited about that. So that we're gonna see an announcement about dates on that pretty soon. But yes, we wanted to make sure to coordinate. I have 2 other festivals in the district that happen in September, and so we're just trying to all that out.
Great.
Although if Hampden Fest wanted to take the Hunt Fest weekend, that would be an easy win. That would be easy.
Yeah.
But we'll see. That's up to the merchants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Libby, would you like to share anything? Speaking of the merchants, would you like to share anything from the merchants' perspective?
And she may, or she's talking and doesn't know. Libby, we can't, if you're talking, we can't hear you.
Finally, there we go.
Okay, there we
Anyway,
go.
sorry, a little under the weather. I'm taking some Benadryl, so my brain's not working. Anyway, but anyway, just on your point, Odette, about the about moving, potentially Hampden Fest in the 100 states. The one thing that the Hampden Fest organizers have always mentioned, and I believe it's true, is that the weather is more predictable and usually nicer in the fall than it is in the springtime. So that's why it seems like all festivals are all like one right after the other coming through September and October, because hey, it works. So but anyway, so hi folks. The Hampden Village Merchants Association, we are doing our annual membership drive right now. And so if you are a local business, if you are a home business, if you are someone who does business within the 211 or surrounding areas, we would love to have you join us. Right now we are about 100, almost 140 member businesses, which says quite a lot about how much we are committed to what we are doing in our community. So if you have any questions or anything about how do I become a member, hampdenmerchants.com. And other than that, we had a great holiday season. I think everybody enjoyed the entertainment and whatnot that we had on the avenue each of the Saturdays through the shopping season. And I know I had a time. And if you are, excuse me, looking for ideas for Valentine's Day, everybody's got something for you.
Excellent. Thanks, Libby. Any other folks? I'm recognizing that we're just about at time, that we need to scoot out of here to make sure that we're being kind to our hosts who close down and get out of here at 8. Anybody else online? Looks like we have somebody here from Darnell. If you would like to share anything, you are most welcome. Otherwise, we'll call it wrap. Yes,
Hey,
please.
how are
Hi.
you?
Good.
Happy New Year to everybody.
You
Um,
too.
I'm gonna be really quick. Right now, the state's attorney's office is down in Annapolis. Ivan Bates is down in Annapolis, pushing his juvenile legislative priorities. He has a lot of amendments on his plate. He has a lot of new legislation that he wants to push for juveniles and for their accountability. He has joint legislation with Aisha Braveboy, who is the state's attorney in Prince George's County. So all of the juvenile situations, crime that you've been hearing about over the past year or so, and the processes of DJS that has been under question over the past 6 months will all be hopefully addressed, and there'll be some amendments coming once the session is over. I actually sent out the whole juvenile legislative priorities over the weekend on Friday. If anybody wants to get those from me, I can actually send them to you. Just send your email address. I will put my stuff. I'll put my email address in the chat. And one other announcement. So Danny Warren, I think a lot of people are familiar with his name. One of the Porsche Pirates in Hampden has been arrested. He got arrested last week, and his case is going to be coming up soon. So if anybody wants to do a community impact statement to be read in front of the judge, to be given to the prosecuting attorney, please send that to me also. I think I gave Christina the template a long time back, but if you need it again, I will definitely send that out. But he has.
Could you get us the dates for that so that if there is anybody that wants to do it, they'd want to know by when do they need to get something to you?
Right. His case hasn't had a date yet because he just got arrested on Thursday.
I see.
So
okay.
when the case comes up, I'll definitely let you know, and then let people know when they can get the community impact statements to me. Matter of fact, I mean, if you just want to fill one out now, I'll make sure I'll have it. So when the case comes up, I can just automatically give it to the prosecuting attorney.
Great, thanks for that. Good. All right. Thanks so much for that. And Eli, looks like you will have the last word.
Well, and I just wanted to chime in briefly, Christina. I know I haven't been a super active participant in the HCC over the past couple of years that you've taken on the leadership, but I personally want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for all of the service that you've done for the community and all that you've taken on. And I look forward to hearing about what you're up to next and learning who the next leaders of the HCC are in pushing Hampden into the future.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
For those who don't know, Eli is the president just before me. Yes, I look forward to doing what you just did for the next person. Thank you for your service too.
Thank you.
All right, well,
Have a good
with that
evening.
moment of gratitude, thanks to everyone who is volunteering to be part of the board, and thanks to all who will vote. And I wish you all a wonderful rest of your evening, and we'll be in touch soon about the next meeting. Take good care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Christina. Thank you for